What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar BYT, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome, guys, to the match preview of the Barcelona versus Girona game, guys. We are already back in La Liga. 2 days after we played against Osasuna, guys. It's already the next game on Sunday. Early kickoff. It's going to be a very, very interesting game. Obviously, this is a Catalan derby, so it's going to be huge, in the city of Catalonia, especially for Girona. And listen, at the end of the day, it is first versus 13th. Girona have not exactly had a great season. They've definitely had a hangover from last season with everything that's been going on. But listen, like I mentioned, we're already back in La Liga. Obviously, this is the match preview. And yeah, man, we're going to get into it. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let's go. Yeah, guys, La Liga football already back. Sunday, early kickoff. Barça versus Girona, guys. We're already back in La Liga. And listen, at the end of the day, it's a must win. It is a must win. Like every other game, this is the 10th game of the season. The last 10 games of the season now. We can't afford to drop any points, even though we have all this fixture piled up with all these games coming thick and fast. Players are going to be coming back. They're very exhausted. Players are going to be very drained by the time, all of these 7 games have ended. Basically, we could basically only have a squad. I don't even know anymore. But as far as this game is concerned, like I mentioned, but obviously the team is coming back from a high. We just beat Osasuna convincingly. It was a very convincing victory, and we did it, with a lot of the players who came back from the international break relatively tired. But yeah, man, they're gonna be coming back. A lot of them, like the Yamals. But good news is, in the game against Girona, we'll most likely see guys like Rafinha get back in the team. Certainly, guys like Araujo will be back in the team. Would we see? One player we will not be seeing, obviously, is Dani Olmo. He's gonna be out for a month. So yeah, our worst fears have come to light. Like, this is a very, 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 very huge blow in the team. Not just in the title race, but in the rest of the games, like in the Copa del Rey second leg, which happens on Wednesday, and the Champions League quarterfinals. It will be a very, very huge loss for us. And it's going to be a huge loss for us in this game. But we'll see what happens with the lineups, how Hansi Flick decides to work with it. As far as like both teams, like I said, is concerned, we played these guys early this season. It wasn't even close. Absolutely battered them. It was an amazing performance from the team at the start of the season. We played so well in that game. I was very impressed with how good these guys were going forward. And listen, like I mentioned, they're not exactly in the best of form. They have been leaking goals defensively. Defensively, they're not that good. They struggle a lot. And listen, if there's one thing about us is our attack is running wild, right? You're seeing guys like Lewandowski coming off the bench and scoring against Osasuna. We saw Ferran Torres scoring in the last game. Guys like Yamal, maybe didn't have the best of games, but you always know Yamal is Yamal, and he will turn up in the game against Girona. Rafinha will be back, like I mentioned. As far as the midfield is concerned, I don't know how Hansi Flick is going to approach the midfield now that Dani Olmo is out injured. Could he potentially see Pablo Torre get an opportunity to play, right? Because he definitely proved himself in the last game. He came off from the bench in that second half and dominated against Osasuna. So maybe Hansi Flick might reward him and give him an opportunity in the first team, which is warranted, which is well warranted for him, right? What I don't know what about the rest of the midfield. Obviously, we know that Casado is out, and so is Bernal, who's been out for the rest of the season. So De Jong, there's been a lot of talk about De Jong being in doubt, because they said that he was having a few, he was suffering some niggles during the game. That's why he got substituted early in the second half. But it is said to be precautionary, so it's very likely we will see him tomorrow. Most likely he will start. But if he doesn't start, what could we potentially see? Could we potentially see Gavi play in that 6th role? Because we know that Hansi Flick was actually experimenting him in that 6th role after De Jong came off the pitch. And listen, he did a good job down there. Could we see maybe Eric Garcia get to the defensive midfield role, right? Because Araujo obviously coming back. Maybe Araujo and Inigo will be the centre-back partnerships. About the rest of the team, guys like Jules Koundé, who've been playing out of their skin, like he's played 90 minutes in the past few games. Could he potentially get a rest, right? Hector Ford is there, and so is Gerard Martin. Maybe we could see some changes. Maybe we could see Jules Koundé get given an opportunity, and maybe to rest. And apart from that, I don't know if guys like Fermin would get a start. I mean, obviously he came off from the bench for Dani Olmo. I wasn't really impressed with him in the game, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. But as far as, like I mentioned, the table is concerned, you guys know we play on Sunday. Today, Real Madrid are playing against Leganes, guys. That's a huge game for them, because if they win, then guess what? When we step in the stadium on Sunday, we will be neck and neck with Real Madrid. Obviously, we'll still be top with the goal difference. However, they will be on our necks, which means that then the game against Girona now is a must win. And listen, this is going to be all the games for the rest of the season. We got to be honest. We're going to be honest. The games are going to be like this for the rest of the season. At the end of the day, it is what it is, man. Like, that's the problem with everything that's happening. I just pray to God that these guys can get the best out of this game, because like I mentioned, Girona are struggling. Like, I believe, honestly, for me, that don't be surprised if Hansi Flick decides to rotate. Not a full rotation, right? Obviously not. However, I can see him doing a slight rotation in the team. I can see a lot of players getting an opportunity in this game, especially considering we have a game on Wednesday against Atletico Madrid in the second leg of the Copa del Rey, which I'm sure Hansi Flick will be going to that stadium wanting to do what he did a few weeks ago. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. As far as the lineup is concerned, I'm going to go Szczesny in goal. I'm going to go a 4-2-3-1 4-2-3-1 formation with the center-backs of partnership of Ronald Araujo, who will be back in the first team. I know Kubashi is on the bench, but I don't see Hansi Flick risking Kubashi, so I see Inigo with Araujo in the centre back partnership. I can see Gerard Martin coming in for Koundé, with Alejandro Balde playing out in the left back position. Now, defensive midfield role, could we potentially see Eric Garcia maybe come to the defensive midfield role? I highly doubt it. I think he's going to play Gavi there. Or maybe he might play De Jong. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't surprise me if he decided not to risk De Jong. So play maybe a Gavi there and then play a Pedri alongside him. And I expect this is a big change I'm going to make. I'm going to say Pablo Torre is going to get an opportunity in the number 10 role to prove himself, right? I think at the end of the day, he's played so well, I didn't see him getting rewarded. On the left, we have Rafinha, who'll be back in the team, and so will Yamal on the right. And of course, in the front line, I can see him potentially go with Lewandowski. Now, personally, for me, I would go for Ferran and rest Lewandowski. Maybe bring him in the second half, but mainly get him ready for the game against Atletico de Madrid. However, like I mentioned, he's potentially going to start Lewandowski in the game against Girona. Now, as far as scoreline is concerned, I'm going to go very, very strong. I'm going to say we're going to get the win. We're going to beat Girona by 3-0, and basically, once again, get back and open the lead in the table. Obviously, guys, like I mentioned, Real Madrid are playing Leganes today, guys. Hopefully, Leganes do us a job like they did a job against us earlier this season when we were at home. Highly doubt it, but anything is possible in football. But any kind of result that they can get in that game will be positive for us. But as far as the game is concerned, we'll see what happens. I hope to God that in the game against Girona, we don't have any more injuries. Please, let's just leave that stadium with no more injuries, because we cannot afford any more injuries in the team. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and like I always say whenever I end these streams, Visca el Barça, Visca el Catalunya. And peace, you guys. Take care.